that we made. Sometimes made with maple syrup and stuff, but the cool thing is they make it usually by warm water and they add sugar to it until sugar makes a little island, like Sugar Island. And then it's 100% saturated as you look for. And sometimes just to make it quicker, they use maple syrup for part of that and stuff. But, there's different formulas. One of the books we have I like because it has like 4 formulas just for Sugarlift. We use what we call a fancy formula. We mixed it in a while because we didn't have the strongest solvent. Usually the solvent would be same as in here, which is naphtha, which is really strong because it breaks it down really fine. That's why this stuff covers everything, never bubbles or anything. But Gamsol would just leave bubbles in it. I've tried before, you know what I mean? I tried to get the strongest thing we had, which is just normal mineral spirits, which we didn't even have that, so we just made it. So it's a little bit of an experiment. Usually use a sponge brush. You only want 1 layer. Sometimes they have it so it's like just can pour down thinner instead of sitting there thicker. When they use this stuff, pour this in something and they actually just use this as a ground in a lot of shops. They think it's really hard to do what we do, like roll it on, and it takes more learning. But the roll-on ground is much less brittle and you can do way better cross-hatching and finer lines and stuff. But this is what they do in a lot of shops. They have nothing but liquid hard ground. They put it on with a sponge brush leaning up, and this excess pours down into a pan. Obviously, sticker at the bottom, but we're going to try to put it on. You can't just go back, so you want to like kind of test how your sponge thing is saturated and it's going to be good enough for 3 strokes. She mixed and mixed this to try to get rid of the bubbles that you sometimes see when you use a weaker solvent. Because weaker solvent is way less effective as far as cleaning up stuff. Like you're cleaning a brush, it takes 3 times longer. In a way, you almost have to use more for the fact it's weaker. We still like it because it has less fumes. Okay, I think I have plenty in this brush. If I miss a few corners, I'm just going to kind of fix them later. I don't want to go back and do this twice. So I have to go for it. Whoops, I did kind of miss it. 2, 3, 4. I guess I could cheat and go the other way. Because this part doesn't have any image on it. The idea is it should be really, really, really thin, so that is it's kind of like bumps, right? As soon as it dries, we can put it in warm water and the sugar escapes, like a little escape artist. It gets like 3 times bigger, it swells up and bursts through the super thin ground. So the thin ground is part of the secret. And we can always paint a little liquid block out the real straight out of here. I didn't make this weaker, just made a little weak mixture that we'll keep separate for Sugarlift, hard ground, paint over. There's a thing called weak ground where you make it weaker and weaker until you put it in the acid and little patterns etch into your plate as it starts breaking down like organically. So there's really cool patterns you can get by putting incredibly weakly on the plate. And then it kind of etches and then breaks through here, and then that makes some lines and then expands and expands and expands, like the breakdown of the hard ground. So it's called weak etch, weak ground. Obviously someone figured it out by accident. Then if there's any spots you do still need to paint, you can just paint them with this stuff, one of those little cartridges. Okay.